Hello class, today we're going to continue studying in our week 3. It's all about the cash flow of the company. So after this lesson you will be able to explain the flow of funds within an organization through and from the enterprise. So I'm really expecting that after this lesson you are able to explain the flow of funds, the flow of money inside and out of the company. Okay, here is the cash flow, how it works to keep your business afloat. I will just explain you in simple ways using the pictures here. Okay, this is the company and we will be looking at the cash that are coming in and the cash that are coming out. Okay, here are the customers. Usually customers will bring money into the company by availing or buying the company's products and services, right? Okay, let's take an example, a concrete example there in Escalante. Let's take the popular company, which is Pure Gold. Pure Gold is very popular there, right? Sandin ka sikat ang Pure Gold mo diri sa Bacolod amo man sikat man ang Pure Gold. They are selling basic commodities and groceries. Yes, it's popular. It's popular of selling basic commodities like groceries, dry goods, yeah, canned goods. Okay, so ang Pure Gold bala, it's a company, right? It's a business. Ang Pure Gold, it's a company. So ang mga customers na nila nga nagakinadto na nagasulod, nagahatag na sila sang income. What type of income? Sales or revenue income. Because people, those customers will be buying their products, so these people will pay, of course, money. They will pay cash. Hindi man pwede i-barter. Okay, they will pay cash, and this cash will get into the company. And of course, Pure Gold also will have to spend that money for some reasons. Maybe they will pay it for rent or taxes to the government and salaries for their employees. It's very normal, class, that when the money gets in, it will also get out. Kung mabaton mo, dugay-dugay magawa man na kay may balaran ka. Okay, the same thing with the company. Ang Pure Gold bala, million ang ila yung gina-income in one day, right? Maybe thousands and millions of money are coming in the company daily. But don't forget, they're also having payments. They need to pay their rent, their taxes, their salaries for the employees, or they need to pay also their loans. May mga utang man na sila. So that is the work of the financial manager to look at the cash, where it goes, and where did it come from. Di nagahalin ang kwarta, kag din nagakadto ang kwarta. Okay, we will study more. As a financial manager, someday you will be a financial manager. So as a financial manager, you need to take consideration on the cash. Ang kwarta gidya sang kwarta gidya sang company. You need to study the flow of cash in the company, and there are only 3 activities where the company are usually spending. The company will spend the cash to its operation, to its investment, and to its financing activities. Tatlo lang na siya, class, kung di makadto yung kwarta sa kumpanya at ang mga ginansya nila halin sa customer, tatlo lang na dayon ang maguan sa operating activities nila. What are the operating activities? Tanan na nga mga ginagasto kada adlaw. Example, ang sweldo sa mga tao nila, ang balayran sa kuryente, balayran sa telepono, balayran sa ilang produkto nga ginbakal man halin sa supplier, okay? Balayran sa renta. Those are operating activities. So money will go to the operating activities of the company. And also, to the investing activities of the company. Kung may ligwa sa kwarta ang company, kung damo sila kwarta, they will think to buy real property. Example, a warehouse. Mabakal sa dako nga bodega. Amo ng Pure Gold no, may dako nga bodega. But I don't know if they are renting or not, or if they really own that warehouse or not. Dako ila building eh. So, kung nag-arkila sila, ang arkila diri na makadto sa operating activities. Pero kung mabakal gid sila yasang ilang warehouse, it means to say they are doing investment. Investment means they are buying equipment, real property, like trucks and other equipments, tools, for long-term use. Galawig na ya ang mga investment. And for the last activity, sometimes the cash of the company will go to the financing activities, pamayad sang utang. Example, ang Pure Gold may utang sila nga 10 million, good for payable for 10 years. Ang iban lang nga kwarta ibayad nila sa ila utang, that is financing activities. So, as a summary class, the flow of funds in an organization, the statement of cash flows will focus only on the three activities of the company: the operating activities, the investing activities, and the financing activities. Okay, but before that, you cannot have the cash flow unless you will know the three important financial statements, and cash flow statement is one of that. What are the three financial reports or statements that are really important? Okay, let's have first the definition of financial statements. Financial statements, it is a written financial report showing the entire monetary condition of a company. Yes, financial statement will show the whole, ang kabilugan na status ng company with regards to money. Financial statements will show it. And there are these are the three important financial statements. Don't forget, number one is the balance sheet. It tells about the financial status of the company in a period of time. Example, in 1 year. Balance sheet usually prepared in a year. Kada tuig din siya ginapreparar. So, balance sheet is prepared usually by mga accountants or bookkeeper. Sila niya ang nagahimo sang balance sheet, ang mga accounting clerk or bookkeeper, yes, or accountant. They are responsible to prepare balance sheet. Kag gina-prepare, and balance sheet is needed to be reported yearly, or it's up to the company. They can choose their term, how long or saan o sila nga ma-prepare sa balance sheet, because the stockholders need to see the financial status of the companies and also the creditors. Ang ilang ginang pangutangan gusto man makakita sa balance sheet. And the next one is the income statement. Income statement tells about the revenues and expenses of the company in a specific period of operation. Take note, class, income statement gina-prepare ni siya in a daily basis or monthly basis or weekly. Kay income statement shows the revenues, ang nagasulod na kwarta, sales revenue, service income, din na makita sa income statement, and also the expenses. Expenses, ano to, hambal ko nga mga expenses: salary expense, utilities expense, water, electricity, telephone, rent expense, din na makita sa income statement, ha? So, income statement usually is prepared weekly or daily or monthly because it shows the revenues and expenses of the company in a specific period of operation. Next is the cash flow. This is now the one that we're studying, the cash flow. So, cash flow usually will based on the balance sheet and the income statement. Cash flow statement, if you prepare cash flow, You need to base on the balance sheet and the income statement. So here, that's why we have here cash flow description. So hopefully class gotten some points, but here is the tip. Here is a tip on how to keep track of what transaction in its cash flow section. Okay, so we have here some tips to consider in preparing our cash flow. Remember that there are only three. There are only three where the cash will go. Number one is on the operating activities. Number two is in the investing activities, and number three is the financing activities. So operating activities includes all activities that are reported on the income statement under operating income or expenses. Okay, so operating expenses you should base it from the income statement that is reported. As a financial manager, you need to require or examine the income statement. Examine it because you will be using that in preparing your cash flow. Because cash flow has three sections: the operating activities, the investing activities, and the financing activities. So if you prepare for the operating activities, take a look at the income statement. Kaya makita mo ang operating income and operating expenses. Next is, you should take a look at the investing activities that includes all cash transactions used to buy or sell long-term assets. Okay? Think of this as the company's investing in itself. Kung ang company ko is buying or selling long-term assets, it is included in the investing activities. Basi mamangkot ka kung din ka mangita sa mga transaction na ibutang mo sa investing activities. Take note, all cash transactions used to buy or sell long-term assets, kag din mo na makita sa balance sheet. Kung nag-ubra ka sa cash flow, take a look at the balance sheet. So, dapat kabalo kagid mag-ubra balance sheet. Kaya ara na da ang mga investing activities ng company and the financing activities. Anong financing activities? Includes all the cash transactions that affect long-term liabilities and equity. Ang tanan naman niya naging utang sa company nga pang long term, pang dugay bala, tag 5 years, 10 years, dra naman na makita nimo sa balance sheet, tag ma-reflect na siya, makitaan mo na sa financing activities. Whenever long-term debt or equity is involved, it is considered a financing activity. Okay? So, take note of that, class. Don't be confused that in preparing a cash flow, there are only three sections that can be found in your cash flow statement. Number one is the operating expenses. Number two is the investing activities. And number three is the financing activities. And the question is, where will you get all the data from the operating activities? Di mo siya pwede kuhaan. Of course, sa income statement, lantawon mo ang income statement sa company, kaya dito mo makita ang operating income nila kag expense. Number two, ang investing activities, din mo naman makita ang itanan ng mga transaction nila about pagbakal kag pag-utang sa long-term na asset. Of course, sa balance sheet. So, lantawon mo ang balance sheet nila. Kaya dito makita ang investing activities nila. How about the financing activities? Doon mo makita. Kay may balayran sila ng mga long-term galing ng mga utang o kung nag-investment sila sa mga long-term man ng mga investment. Then mo na makita, of course, sa balance sheet man. So, class, when you prepare a cash flow statement, you need to prepare first balance sheet and then income statement. Here is an example. Take a look at the example. As I said, there are only three sections that can be found in your cash flow statement. Number one is the cash flows from operating expenses. Sorry, no, operating expenses. So, number two is cash flows from investing activities. wala di siya sang financing, wala guro sila ng utang, wala guro sila balayran nga panglawig. Okay, so let's just take an example here. Operating activities, amo ni ang change net, amo ni ang pinaka bottom line nila, net asset kono nila is 665,000 sang 2015. Sang 2014 naman niya is 1,100,000. So how you will do that? Adjustment to reconcile to cash basis. I-add mo kuno ang depreciation. Ang depreciation given naman na siya sa ara na siya sa ano sa balance sheet. I-add mo na siya ara 50,000. Increase or decrease in pledges receivable. Dre wala iya sang increase, so that's why 0. Dre naman niya nag-increase. Increase 5,000. Kung nag-increase dire, i-minus mo siya. Minus. Then dre naman niya accounts payable and accrued expense. Nag-increase siya ho. 90,000. Butsing ganon, accounts payable, balayran niya, 90,000. Butsing ganon, ang nagsulod sa iya is, ang net asset niya is 665,000. Ging add niya, ging plusan niya sang 50,000. Dayon, ging minusan niya naman sang 5,000 nga dividend receivable. Ang dividend receivable bala ng mabaton mo balang nga interest from your stocks. Ang accounts payable naman ang imabalayran, ara nag-increase na siya, decrease siya 90,000. Okay, so ang total net cash flows from operating expenses, total na is ging add ni siya, ging add ari minus, then ari ging add. So, pilatanan, 800,000. I-plus mo niya 665,000 plus 50,000 minus 5,000 plus 90,000. So, 800,000 tanan. Amo na siyang net cash flows from operating expenses. How about our cash flows from investing companies? Ano ang mga pamakal nila? Ang pamakal nila nga panglawigay long term? Sale of investment, waging baligya nila ang ila isa ka propiedad, sale of investment, gibaligya nila, so nakaganar sila 200,000. Ang purchase of investment, nagbakal naman sila sang isa ka butang, I don't know kung ano gimbakal nila, pero nagbakal sila sang isa naman ka long term investment, 850,000. So, ang net cash flow from investment nila is, pila ko no? 850 minus 200, deficit sila, 650,000. Aryo, ini siya ang may parenthesis, close parenthesis, but singa non, minus na siya, negative. So, 850 minus 200, 650 negative. Close sa deficit. But nga, ang net cash flows nila from investing activities is deficit, negative 650,000. Kulang. Perde. Okay, kulang sila. So, net cash flow, paano mo ang net cash flow? Ang net cash flow is, you're going to, this one, 800,000 minus 650,000, negative mo, di ba? So, ini siya, ang 800,000, minusan mo 650,000, 150,000 ang sabat, ang nabilin. Beginning cash balance, maging dugang ka naman nga cash balance 100,000, so amo na ang ending cash balance mo sa cash flow mo is 250,000. Ging-add mo lang ng 150 kag ang 100. I-add mo sila nga duwa. Ini naman niya ang operating expenses kag ang investing ging minus mo. Okay, hopefully class that you have gotten the idea on how to compute, to sum up cash flow. Okay, here. Let's have a review again. What is the cash flow statement? The statement of cash flows, also called the cash flow statement, is the fourth general purpose financial statement and summarizes how changes in the balance sheet accounts affect the cash account during the accounting period. It also reconciles the beginning and the ending cash and cash equivalents account balances. Okay, take note ha, importante ang balance sheet kay dira naga-refer ang cash flows. Ang imong balance sheet da mo mabalaan sa cash flow. Buti nga nun, hindi ka kaubra sa cash flow kung wala ka balance sheet. Guys, cash flow summarizes how changes in balance sheet accounts affect the cash account during the accounting period. Ang tanan ko nung katabo sa cash mo during the accounting period, kung pilakto ko nung na-reflect sa imo nga cash balance, sa imo nga balance sheet, dito sa makitaan kundi nagaladto sa cash flow. Ang cash flow gasugid na siya kung diin nagaladto ang kwarta mo during a period of time. Kay ang balance sheet mo may cash na da mo. May cash na da ti mamangkot ka, di na ni nagaladto ni ang cash nga ini. So the cash flow will tell you. Ang cash flow ang mamanugid. Example, ikaw ang tag-iya, may cash to nga may cash dito nga 100 million. Bawda ko dako ba? 100 million nga cash. So as a tag-iya ka, ikaw nga tag-iya, curious ka kung di nagaladto na ang detalye sang kwarta. So you will require the cash flow. Mambal ka din sa mga financial manager, please submit to me the cash flow statement. I want to see where the cash goes, where the cash has been invested. I want to see that. So, ang imong financial manager will really prepare the cash flow based on the income statement and the balance sheet. Okay? Again, the statement of cash flows, also called the cash flow statement, is the fourth general purpose financial statement and summarizes how changes in the balance sheet. Siya ang nag-summarize kung ano ang ginliwat-liwat da sa imong mga balance sheet accounts. Ano man na napektuhan ang cash account during the accounting period. It reconciles beginning and ending cash and cash equivalents account balances. Okay, here is the cash flow diagram. A very simple one. I hope you can understand this. Here is the money coming in to the company in terms of earnings. All the earnings of the company, may it be service income or revenues or sales revenues, it will get in the company and we call that earnings. It will get into company and of course it will get out also through the spending of the company. How the company will spend? Okay, how will the company will spend? Of course, there are only three. Operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. Okay, as I have said last, the company spending will be only in three categories, as we have discussed earlier. The three spending of the company will go only into three categories. We have the operating activities, the investing activities, and the financing activities. So as you can see, the money that comes in the company will be also spent through these three activities. Operating activities, it includes all the cash payments during the operation. Example, salaries expense, rent expense, utilities expense, and everything. All the cash that are spent for the operation of the company. Investing activities are the transactions that involve long-term acquisition of assets. Example, the company will buy a real estate, a warehouse, a truck, tools or equipment. Those involves long-term investment. And financing, it tells about the payments to be made by the company in long-term basis. Kung nangutang siya sang pampalawig nga utang. Okay, so hopefully class you will understand how the cash gets in and gets out from the company. It's very simple. So here, this is an example of a cash flow statement. Your company name, you need to write there, cash flow statement, the title of the report. Cash flow statement as on December 31, 2015. Opening balance of the cash at the beginning of the year is 15,700. Ginahatag na nila ang cash, beginning cash balance. Diri ho, 15,700. So, cash flow operation. Sa operation nila, operating activities of the company, cash received from mga cash kunong nabaton, halin sa customers ho, pila, 925,000. Ang mga miscellaneous operation naman nila is 123,000. Ang mga nabaton nila, ging add ni sila nga duwa, ari ang resulta. 1,48,000. 1,048,000. Okay, amo na nabato nila ha. How about ang ilaging pamayad? Cash paid for. This is an example of a direct method of cash flow. So, this is a direct method of cash flow statement. Cash paid for. Ang tanang pamayad nila, purchase of inventory. Nagbakal sila sa ilang stocks, 300,000. General and administrative expense, ang ilang expenses, 75,000. Ang salary and wages expense, 150,000. Interest paid borrowings, 12,000. Income tax paid, amount tanan nga gingwaan sa ilang kwarta klaso. All the disbursements and payments, gingkwinta tanan, pila? 552,500. 552,500. Okay. So, net cash flow operation, yung ano ko no, net cash flow operation, ano huning duwa? Minus income minus expense. Ang nagsulod, minusan sa nagwa. Pila answer? 495,500. This is an example class of a direct method of cash flow statement. Why it is direct? Kaya ang tanan nga nagsulod, ginlista mo lang de. Ang tanan naman nga nagwa, ginlista mo man de. Ging-add mo ang dire, ging-add mo man ang dire, then i-minus dayon ang duwa. Ang nagsulod, minusan sa nagwa. Amo ni siya ang balance. Okay. So hopefully you have understood at least a little in my discussion class. See you on the week 4.